Hey everybody, DJ Sixsmith here. You're watching the Sit Down. Look who's here. It's Connie Nielsen. How are you, Connie?
Hi, everyone.
You got a nice little setup there. Good to talk to you.
It's really nice. It's actually where we watch movies in here. It's just a normal, like, little hangout den, but we love it in here.
You guys watching anything good these days?
Yeah, we've been watching a lot of oldies. Like, we've been doing like the Mad Maxes, all of them. We've been doing Mission Impossibles.
Nice.
So because I have a 13-year-old as well, and then I have my grown kids, and they are all like sort of like, well, now we got to teach him to see this one. Now he's got to see this. Like, it's almost like a pop culture education going on here.
Do your kids like the stuff that you've been in recently, whether it's, Inheritance or Wonder Woman? Like, have they seen this stuff?
We never watch my movies. I think, for them, I'm just like, they're just these annoying things when I'm gone and nobody's fixing the sandwich they like,
right. It's like, yeah, actually, Mom's been in some great movies and some cool TV shows too.
Yeah, but I think it's also really healthy for them to grow up absolutely normal and just thinking, oh, it's one of those pesky things, her job.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So why don't we talk about this new movie? It looks extremely thrilling. There's some mystery involved. There's a whole bunch of layers in terms of the family stuff going on. So what was the appeal of Inheritance?
Well, I think the character that I play, this matriarch, she's a lawyer, very sharp woman who's leading her family after her husband's sudden death. And with his death comes a whole bunch of secrets that we didn't realize existed. It comes out in the open, and that addresses a bunch of traumas that the family have, in fact, been through. And it's left up to the rest of us to deal with the outcomes of those secrets.
Yeah, trauma is a good word to use, and it's hard enough to deal with trauma when somebody's alive and then somebody's dead and you got to pick up the pieces. Like, there's clearly a lot going on with this story, and it kind of represents what people have to deal with when somebody's gone.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't leave their things in good order, and or they leave them in terrible condition, like impose an order that's really iniquitous. And in either case, and both of these are happening in the film, where it's both a really iniquitous will, but also a really messy situation that he puts us in.
It's also this really scary concept that you could live with someone your whole life. They could be a parent or a kid, and you could know nothing about what they actually look like in terms of the rest of their life. Like, that's really crazy to me.
Well, and your neighbors, like, you have no idea what's going on over there. Like, you just don't know.
No. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it with work. Like, for me, I work 40 hours a week with people in an office, and now we're not doing that. But it's like, I don't really know who these people are outside of the office. Like, it's a weird deal.
I want you guys to go and have some really good hangouts in your house. I'm like this. I love cooking food, and I'm sort of like the kind of person that, people hey, are you ready to make some more food, and can we all come over? And then we all come over and we all hang out in the kitchen and we all chat and talk while I cook, and then we sit down and we eat a giant meal, because I always cook way too much food. And I think that's we've been doing that since the beginning of time for a reason. Sharing bread is the way to get to know each other.
Yeah, that sort of thing is so underrated, and it really is magnified now because we can't do that. Like, I'm doing a virtual Google Hangout with friends and having drinks and stuff like that, but just pales in comparison to the real thing.
I think there's something about the way our bodies actually exchange loads of whatever is in the air. I don't know how many different ways our bodies, but I do think that they do react to each other, and we do absorb things from each other. I mean, not just viruses, but also good stuff. So yeah.
I think we're meant to be together. That's for sure. And we're meant to watch movies together. And I think about movies I've seen like the last 5 years. I mean, Wonder Woman's right at the top of that list. So what was the most amazing part of that experience for you?
I think for me, it was the realization, that yes, female action heroes are as important to young guys, kids, boys, who are the repeat customers of this type of movie, as male superheroes. And that was extraordinary. I remember there was a moment when we were at the premiere, and my son, my youngest, just turned to his friend and went like, you know, and they were just like so excited about the action. And then after that, I actually saw that many of the avatars in like Fortnite and a lot of these games are female. They're
Hmm.
female avatars, and there's no embarrassment whatsoever having a very good looking, you know, body as a woman. And in fact, those avatars are just so cool. And it's very gender equal.
That's really awesome. And it just shows like the difference in generations. Like I'm in my 20s and like now the generation growing up, like this is totally normal for them. For me, it was like there were these one-off experiences, but now your son is just in a world where it's like they're video game characters, they're movie heroes. Like this is so huge for that next generation.
That's right. And I think that augurs so well for relationships, for a whole bunch of things, because if you're just used to thinking of the other gender as your co-equal,
Hmm.
I just think you're going to have a much better relationship. And so are you.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, even for you, I bet with the movie industry, just seeing how things have changed over the past 10, 15 years, like even having these parts and playing all these different roles, like that didn't necessarily exist when you first got going in movies and TV.
And it was like it had disappeared. So we
Hmm.
should always watch out for every progress that we make, because, you know, back in the 40s, there were amazing roles for
Yeah.
women. You know, women were just like these freaking awesome dames, and the characters were complex, and they were not stuck in some like ludicrously misogynistic, you know, complex that made up the basic, you know, ideas of movies for a long time in the 80s and 90s. So, and you know, we really have to watch out for our progress and keep it.
Yeah, I mean, decades ago, there were women who had the ability to choose their director and the types of roles they played. And then, like you said, like it just completely vanished until the last 5, 10, 15 years.
Absolutely. And I think that was, you know, an unintended consequence of the sexual revolution, was that, oh, now men were free to exploit women
Mm.
sexually instead of women being free to enjoy their sexuality. It became something to exploit. And that put us into a different kind of sort of slavery. So I just feel like now let's keep this progress. Let's have women be in charge of how they want to use their body and not be exploited by men. But, you know, if you're body positive and you like to do that, you know, you feel free to do that. If you are more into being, you know, not about the body, but more about your, you know, all of whatever mixture of things you want to do, you know, that will help us be strong and free and
Yeah,
equal.
just do what you want to do. I think that's the most empowering
Yeah,
thing. And you
yeah.
know, when I think about your career, like you've had these great parts. Like I love The Following. I thought it was an awesome show. Like it was cool
Thank
seeing
you.
you pop on that. What were some of the memories of working with Kevin Bacon and doing that one?
Oh, you know, I just that he is such a great guy. You know, I'm sure people are so tired of hearing, you know, they'd love to hear something spicy, but like the guy is just truly, you know, grade A actor, just so goddamn handsome in
Mhm.
that quirky way, and then just so lovely, like a lovely person.
And
Just,
that show was dark and twisted and went in all
yeah,
different
but you know,
directions.
it wasn't around him. And then, you know, by the way, the twisted guy, another lovely person. You know, they're actors.
How about Gladiator from back in the day? What still sticks in your memory all these years later?
You know, so many people have been asking me about this, of course, because of the 20th anniversary, and I think just now, of course, a lot of gratitude. And the fact that you know, you've been part of a project that so many people have treasured for so long, and that people are still speaking about it. You know, it
Mhm.
just it's a really wonderful thing. What sticks in my mind is that Ridley Scott is a genius. That he just basically handled I don't know how many wild horses on that set and off it, and came away a superstar. He was already a star director, but after Gladiator, he was like a superstar, right?
Yeah.
And he he hasn't stopped, you know. And he's just, I just think that his approach to art, which is so open and allows this fluidity both onset and offset, is what sets him apart.
When you get some of these movies that are so rigid and there's not that flexibility to have that free reign, like it makes a difference, I'm sure, as an actor. And doing that movie, it's like, yeah, just go for it. Do your thing.
Not only that, but somebody who really encourages ideas, like, and I think chooses actors for, part of their, their spirit of, of thought, of originality, of power, and of vision. I think that he chooses people like that because he likes them. He likes them. He's not
That's
afraid.
a nice thing. Yeah. How about other directors and actors you've worked with? Are there other people like that it's just been really pleasant or really enjoyable?
Yeah,
Who are some names that come to mind?
I would say that Patty really does remind me. She's like a female, really, that way. She just is very comfortable being on a set with 5 different camera setups going at the same time, huge crowds, lots and lots of complicated action. Has no problem with it. Not, in fact, I think kind of likes it. And just also, again, is someone who really encourages. I think the casting of really incredibly strong actors, and she likes it. She likes them.
And someone who pushes boundaries also, and we certainly need more of that in Hollywood.
Absolutely. And it's someone who defends people like that.
Awesome. Well, Connie, thanks so much for hanging out. Looking forward to the new movie, and we'll talk to you down the road, all right?
Thanks very much. It was fun.